Hi, this is Bob Mills, this is Talk Radio, and that song you can hear playing along behind me. And don't forget, it's Talk Radio, it's not music radio, it's Talk Radio. But we walk against the wheel on this particular show and we say there is no radio without music. And that's Side of Time, and Side of Time is by Adam and the Hellcats. And I am more delighted than I could possibly say to reveal that Adam and the Hellcats, well, a little bit of Adam and the Hellcats are sitting right opposite me in the studio. Back to the old days, it's 12 months, over 12 months since we had live music in this studio. And do you know what? It's different. I'm sorry, it really is. Because it's a talk radio station. We talk and that's fine. But you've got to have music, haven't you? Life's nothing without music.
Yeah, true, man.
Okay, we've got Adam Feasey and Kywin Farran. Adam Feasey, talk us through Adam and the Hellcats.
Yeah, so kind of started back when I was in music college, really. Band kicked around for a few years. It was kind of your average local band, only 3-4 piece thing, but there were some catchy songs there. I went off, did some other things for a few years, came back to doing the Hellcats thing again, and things just seemed to really kick off. It was like it was the right time for me to do it, and so I started writing an album called...
Lean forward, sorry, Adam, lean forward a little bit, sorry.
Yeah, so I started writing an album called Claws Out about 3 years ago, kind of when Kywin joined the band, actually, on second lead vocals.
Yo.
And yeah, it came out in April, and it's been doing surprisingly well for a band of our sort of level.
We have it in front of us right here, Adam and the Hellcats. Right, you got to help us with the name here. What are Hellcats?
Honestly, people expect some kind of deep, meaningful answer
and a
here.
really gritty grunge band.
No, well, honestly, it just sounded cool in my head while I was a bit drunk one night. Everyone expects a deep, meaningful answer at that point. I'm sorry, you're not going to get it.
I like and bands. Seriously, bands with and in it are always good quality. They're really... Kilburn and the High Roads are my favourite band.
Oh, yeah.
Blast Furnace and the Heat Waves. I love it. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders, you don't even remember them, you're too young. So how long have you been at it now in its current format?
In its current form, I'd say about 4.5 years, really. Like,
I've only been here for 2 of them.
Well, yeah, like things really started to kick off when Kywin joined, one of the best voices I've ever heard in my life, to be honest.
Where are you from, Cam? What's that accent?
I've been born and raised in Bristol, but I'm half Welsh, half Polish.
Ah, it's not as Welsh as you would think, the accent, is it?
No, I'm a bit of a chameleon when it comes to accents, actually. Like, I pick up on things really easily, so you get a lot of American television as well, so I must have picked up some of that because I just tend to go to places and people are like, oh, where are you from?
When you're born in Wales, basically, when you come out, you have to sing a song pretty much straight away, don't you? That's the rule. Before the family will accept you, they say, do you want to put her to the teat? Do you want to wrap her up? And they say, no, we want to hear her sing first. Just to check.
Sing, gremlin, sing.
It does sound about right, to be honest.
And how did you meet?
Honestly, Christina, who now actually sings backing vocals in the band as well. Hi, Christina, if you're listening. She started out working merch for us at gigs, and she's brought Kywin along one night, and then another member who used to be in the band suggested bringing Kywin into the fold. I met up with her, heard her sing, and within about, I think it was about 20 minutes, I gave you the job on it. Then not long after that, there was one gig that Kywin couldn't do because of some prior commitments. So Christina, who I mentioned before, came and filled in, and then we were looking for another vocalist for the band, and we were like, oh, who should it be? Oh wait, Christina already earned it. You know, like she'd already kind of
already done it. So what's the lineup? It's guitar, bass.
It's actually an 8-piece band. It's a bit weird compared to your standard 4-5 piece. We got my dad Tony on the drums. He's actually through in the control room right now. I can see Tony.
Drummer and carrier, driver, all sorts of things.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Jazz Fox on bass, Martin Woodman and Steve Gibbons on guitars, Steve Long on the keyboards, Christina Alea, Kai Winfarren, and myself on the vocals up the front. And so it's a real big wall of sound. It's meant to make a real show out of it.
So there's nothing better than being in a band when you're a kid. There's not. No, seriously, when you're young, everyone should be in a band.
Definitely.
Without any shadow of a doubt. And you go as far as you want to go. You take it as seriously as you want to take it. My heart has gone out to young people in the last year, but especially people who just... Imagine if the November before last, you all got together and said, let's form a band, and started working on it. And then you had this year. It's just... do you know what? I think we will have lost some real talent from people who just thought, well, it's no good. It's not to be. I'll go get another job.
I'm not going to name names because they probably wouldn't want me to, but I do know of a few bands that have kind of gone to the wall because of all that's been going on.
And it's tough because in the first 2-3 years, you don't know. You might make it, you might not. You think you're going to. Of course you do, because otherwise you wouldn't do it. Why would you traipse around the country? Why would you? God, I must...
One thing I can definitely say is that during last year, there was a lot of manic songwriting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We're already working on the follow-up to Claws Out, mainly just because we haven't got the time, much else to do. Although I can say we obviously, as long as everything goes to plan, we're heading out on a UK tour in August.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember an old band called Girls' School who used to open for Black Sabbath.
Yes, I do know Girls' School.
Long story short, Jackie Chambers from Girls' School.
Sorry, is it school with a K? If I remember
no.
Are you sure?
It's spelt the way you think.
Okay.
But Jackie, the lead guitarist, played on a charity single called Rule Britannia we put out raising money for the NHS last year. And we became good friends from there. We ended up on the same management label as her side project, Cyteria. And they kindly asked us to go out as special guests on a UK tour with them.
Fabulous. The website where you can find all this, is they put it in front of me, is Adam Hellcats, one word.
Yeah.
AdamHellcats.rocks.
Yeah.
There's got to be .co.uk, hasn't there, after that?
No, honestly, Dad found that actually.
www, surely at the beginning. http://www.adamhellcats.rocks.
I don't understand
It's
all
all
the
planned
web
to
stuff.
confuse you.
I don't understand all that web stuff, man.
So listen, we need to hear you play. What time do I need to go to? How long's the song?
Only about 2.5 minutes. We shortened it down a bit for this.
Oh, so I need to go to it at 56:56. No, you haven't put the other time up. Okay, that's fine. No, it's all right. We don't need to do it just yet. No, but what I like to do, I'll tell you what, we like to time it here, because I've got a screen in front of me with timings on. What I love is to go out with music. I like you to finish the song right on the final thing before we go to the news.
Love it. Good plan.
Isn't it? It's cool. Which, if you pre-record, is brilliant. But sometimes when they're playing, it's a little bit harder. But anyway, no, I need to talk more about sort of influences and who you're into and what is it you're hoping to achieve.
Well, influences wise for me, it all started with Status Quo, honestly. My dad took me to see him when I was about I think I was 10 years old, and I just kind of went, Dad, I want to do that. you know, I saw Rick Parfitt step on stage, coolest looking human being I'd ever seen in my life, and he hit the first few chords of Caroline, and I just kind of knew. You
know something? I know there are bigger bands, and I know there are trendier bands, and I know there are much more important bands, but I've seen a lot of bands. I'm an old man now, and I've been listening to music since I was 7, and I've heard most of the bands, and some of them are just mind-blowing, and we could talk all day. But until you've stood in a group of other people where you can hardly move, and you're all tired out there, and someone comes on stage, and all you hear is diddly ding, diddly ding, diddly ding ding, diddly ding, and you think, yeah, that's a bit cool. There's not much to that, is there? And then 2.5 hours later, your bones are moving.
Yeah.
It is the. I'm sorry, but I say this without any fear of contradiction, and I don't care who you are, and I know that the bands you love are better. They are not the best band in the world, but there is no better live band ever, and never has been. And I mean the Stones, the Who, I've seen them all, than Quo. There is no better 2.5 hours that you will ever have in your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Than the days when Quo were at their peak and playing.
Even today.
Yeah, because Francis Rossi's still out there doing stuff.
Well, they replaced Rick with a young lad called Richie Malone, and honestly, I just call him Little Rick. He plays and sounds exactly like him.
Because you see, people would argue with that and say, "Oh yeah, but if you listen to the way that this band controls its own pace and the color." No, that's not what music's about. On one level it is. That's why we love classical music. But rock music is about, I'm not in control of myself anymore. They're in control of me. What they're playing is deciding how I move, how I feel, everything.
And that's the beauty of it.
Well, the best thing, honestly, with being in this band for me is Kywin's got a big background in musical theatre. Which just teaches so much voice control, and even when she's letting loose, like I can still tell you're in absolute control of what you're doing.
It's mostly a confidence thing, though.
Tell us about your background in musical theatre, then, Kywin.
Well, I've done some musical theatre, but really, I came from mostly doing like just drama as a thing, acting. I did, sorry, my mind is going like, I went to UE to do a drama and acting course.
What's UE? University of
the West of England.
Oh, it's UWE.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking University of Exeter. No, University of West of England. Where are they based?
I should have been like more.
Where are they? Bath, Bristol.
Bristol.
Yeah.
I went to the Ballard Ashton campus.
Okay.
Which doesn't have a lot of like societies there. They kind of chuck all the societies in like the really far away Frenchay campus.
But I've always had a love of big harmonies in rock music, and there's no one I've ever met that my voice works better with.
When it comes to musical theatre, I've done a lot of musical Shakespeare parodies.
Okay. Yeah, no, I love them. They always, when I used to go to the Edinburgh Festival, it was always a great half an hour when you wandered in and someone was doing that. Not making fun of Shakespeare, but doing a new alliteration of it. It was always wonderful. Musical Shakespeare. I love people who play with music.
Yeah.
I love people who play music, but I love people who play with music. There's nothing better. As much as I love, rock music and heavy music, I love people. Sometimes a guy gets up on stage with a guitar and just mucks about and does stuff.
Well, music doesn't really have a limit.
No.
There's not a pre-prescribed way to do it. Like, sure, there's probably other bands you could say we sound like, but I never intended that. I wrote what felt good to me in my head at the time. I'm like, most of the songs on Claws Out were just random little riff ideas that I stuck together with a couple of other riff ideas and wrote some vocals over. Everyone wants some deep, meaningful answer to that. So, sorry, Bob, you ain't getting it.
No, I'm 100%. Bernie Marsden came on the show.
Oh, I love Bernie.
He's what a lovely man.
One of the best gigs I ever saw was Bernie Marsden playing with Hand of Dimes at Steelhouse Festival. Pouring rain, Hand of Dimes are doing their thing. There's not many people there because it's raining and most are in the beer tent. But no one knew that Bernie was going to come out and do a full set of Whitesnake tunes with him. And all of a sudden, Nev McDonald's just yelled, "Ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Marsden!" About 500 people have just evacuated the beer tent, didn't care about the rain anymore.
Well, he was a lovely guest. He came on and he chatted, and we were talking about, and I was getting too much into it. I was overexcited because it was Bernie, and I was saying, the whole point is, Bernie, surely that what you need to do, and you get all these things. And he sat and listened. He said, "Can I stop you, Bob? I'll tell you the whole point. Get a riff." He said, because long after they've forgotten the lyrics, long after they've forgotten the backbeat, people would, because he said, what a riff is. It was the most beautiful thing. He said, what a riff is is when you're walking past and someone just leans out and grabs your collar and goes, "Oi!"
Yeah,
and you do that
exactly.
and you never forget that happening, and you never forget the riff.
Well, She's a Vampire, the song that opens up Claws Out, that was my only intention. Just write a song with a riff that just grabs you by the scruff.
Yeah.
Of
You
you.
never forget it. You never lose it. It never goes away. Right. After all the blib and all the blah and all the manner and all the fanner, it's time for you guys to play. You're going to do the Ballad of Mary Jane. I'm going to roll my seat back. Adam Feasey and Kywin Farrant representing Adam and the Hellcats. It's up to you.
Aye, well, yeah, thanks for having us, Bob. It's been an honour. This is the Ballad of Mary Jane. 10 years you've been in charge of my head and my heart. Really need you gone. I need to get back to the start. You're beautiful, you're deadly and sweet all at the same time. You make me happy, then you break me down. There ain't no reason or rhyme. She took me in with a warm embrace and she settled on my chest. Should've known that day that I just failed my greatest test. See, devils, they look beautiful when suckering you in. When I look back upon my life, that was my greatest sin. So I say goodbye, Mary Jane. I need you out of my brain. You're driving me insane, oh Mary Jane. Goodbye, Mary Jane. I need you out of my brain. You're beautiful but deadly, Mary Jane. A few years in the problem start, I really needed help. But that foul witch won't get out of my head. I feel like I could yell. I crave you all the time. My love could never be without. You're not there for a little while. I wanna scream and shout. You got a hold on me, I really have to break. You're really just a spiteful witch. All you do is take. And now you're gone, I feel so bad, but I really hate to pray for the hope that I may have a life again one day. So I say goodbye, Mary Jane. I need you out of my brain. You're driving me insane, oh Mary Jane. Goodbye, Mary Jane. I need you out of my brain. You're beautiful but deadly, Mary Jane. Goodbye, Mary Jane. I need you out of my brain. You're driving me insane, oh Mary Jane. Goodbye.